This was me around 30% body fat. I had no confidence, no motivation, and got zero attention. Fast forward, and this is me now at 15% body fat. I get way more attention from girls, have better confidence, and improved mental health. In this video, I'm gonna guide you through the steps that I took so you can get similar results to me, but literally 10 times faster. Number 1, clean up your eating environment. Too many people, and this was me included as well, we put so much emphasis, when it comes to fat loss. The only thing we hear over and over, right, is that we need to do endless amounts of cardio to actually see progress. But that is actually far from the truth. The real truth is, right, and you probably heard this so many times before, is that you can't outtrain a bad diet. And there's reasons why people say it, over and over. Back in the day, right, when I used to be fat and I wanted to get in shape, I instantly started doing these high intensity cardio sessions. I would bike ride for 1 hour every single day. And then I would go for runs every single day as well, just going crazy with the amount of cardio that I did. After doing all these intense cardio sessions, at the end of the week, right, I had literally lost only 2 pounds. And you can just imagine the look on my face, right? I put in all this hard work just to lose 2 pounds, and I got so unmotivated. However, the real results, right, they came when I finally started improving my eating. Not going crazy, only eating chicken, broccoli, and rice every single day, but simply just cleaning up my eating environment before anything else, which makes it so much easier for you to make progress. So imagine this, right? You finally finished a cardio session. Let's say you did 45 minutes of running outside. And once you get back to your home, you go straight to your kitchen, because you need to reward yourself after doing a hard session, right? And the first thing you see when you step into your kitchen is that you see snacks and chocolate just staring you straight in the eyes. You say to yourself, well, I did some cardio before, right? So obviously I need to reward myself, because what was the point of doing it in the first place? And before you know it, you start eating the chocolate and snacks, even though you really shouldn't. Now, why I'm telling you this and why it's so specific is because I was stuck in this cycle myself for weeks and weeks and weeks. This was the main reason why I didn't see any progress to my body, even though I did all the hard cardio sessions. Now, the easiest way that I found for me personally, and this probably works for you as well, to clean up your eating environment, is to simply not buy the bad foods in the first place, at least for the time being, because you can't control yourself. If you don't have the bad foods at home, right, then it's so much easier to not mess up on the way that you eat, because you don't even have the bad foods to begin with. Now, I speak from personal experience, right? No matter how disciplined you are and how disciplined you think you are right now, sooner or later, the time that you see the chocolate and the snacks, before you even know it, you will have a piece. You can say, oh, I'm the most disciplined person in the world. Just trust me when I say this. No one is disciplined enough to not give in, if you just see it enough times. Now, if you're serious about changing your body and want me to personally guide you, step by step along the way to make way faster progress and actually make fat loss enjoyable along the way, then click the first link in the description. Now, what really works for me when it comes to the food is simply to replace the bad foods with better options that are still tasty and is satisfying at the same time. Let's say you enjoy snacking, right? Like I personally do. Then instead of having snacks or chocolates, then just be more smart about it. Have popcorn, fruits, or my personal favorite is Greek yogurt with honey. This way, you still get some protein in. Meanwhile, you satisfy the sweet tooth. It's a no-brainer when you think about it. Or let's say you enjoy soda, right? Then just go for the sugar-free alternative so you can still enjoy yourself, without the extra calories. So if you drink Coke, for example, go for Coke Zero or, Mountain Dew or whatever you can think of. Just go for the Diet or Zero version instead. And this way you can get pretty much the same taste, right? But without unnecessary calories. Just start making small adjustments like this, and I promise you, it will be so much easier to start making progress and, actually stay consistent by making small steps instead of these massive ones that you can't do consistently. Number 2, you need to keep it as simple as possible. You probably noticed, right, when you start making things complicated for yourself, it's so much harder to make progress and, just get the results that you want. You don't need to learn, 20 different exercises for each body part that you want to train in the gym. Just keep it as simple as possible. Learn a few exercises and get good at doing them, improve the form over a longer period of time. And this will give you way faster results than, trying to do 20 different exercises because I need to confuse the muscle. That is just complete BS. Why I'm telling you this is because I used to be the exact same way. I was constantly watching fitness content every single day, on YouTube or whatever you can think of. And I was learning new exercises literally every single day without having any use of them. They were just clouding my brain with unnecessary information, which didn't help me make any faster progress. In the grand scheme of things, right, the most important thing when it comes to getting in shape, and especially going to the gym, is just that you show up in the first place. You can have 50 different exercises for every single muscle, but if you don't even show up in the first place to use those exercises, then what are you doing? You're just wasting your time. It was once I dialed back on the information and just started to take more action instead. That's when everything completely changed for me, and I started to get a way better progress to my body, just like in this picture right here. Most of the time, right, we already know what we need to do. We simply just need to be reminded of it and stick to the plan long enough to get the results that we want. So just keep it as simple as possible, and here's what I did to make a way faster progress. I started going to the gym about 3 days a week, let's say Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. At the time, right, I did a routine called push-pull legs. I put up a picture of the routine on the screen right now, so you can copy it to get started if you want. Now, besides going to the gym 3 days a week, I included some form of low-intensity cardio, and in my case, this was simply just doing more walking on a daily basis. This doesn't have to be complicated like whatsoever. Remember, if you're serious about changing your body and want me to personally guide you step by step along the way to make so much faster progress when it comes to fat loss, then click the first link in the description. Now, what I found personally to be the easiest way, to keep consistent with the exercising and the cardio is to make a simple checklist that you can follow on a weekly basis. I personally just wrote down in the notes on my phone, something like this. And after I finished the workout, I would put a check mark next to it. This gave me a boost of motivation, because I didn't want to leave any of them unchecked at the end of the week. Try this out for yourself and you'll see that it's easier to stick to the plan because you have a weekly goal that you can work towards. Number 3, see it as a lifestyle and not something temporary. Be honest, right? How many times have you heard people say this? Oh, I'm just gonna work out for like the next 2 to 3 months and I'm also gonna eat better. And once I lose the weight, then I'm gonna be happy and I'll just continue on with my life. Now with these people, right, what do you think happens after those 2 to 3 months that they eat better and work out, if they don't continue doing it over a longer period of time? What do you think is actually going to happen? The harsh truth is, right, that like 90% of these people who say they're going to do it temporary, once they finish that time period, right, what happens? The weight is slowly coming back because they're not changing their habits entirely. This is one of the main reasons why you see people who say, oh, I've been working out for years and I've been eating better for years, and they still look the same. They only do it in cycles, like 2 weeks there and 2 weeks there, and it's not something that's constant over a longer period of time. And that's why they have like no results to show for it. So my advice to you, and I want you to take this seriously, make it a lifestyle for yourself and not something temporary. Otherwise, you're going to be that person who say, oh, I've been working out for 5 years and I've been eating better for 5 years, but you still look like trash because you're not doing it for the long enough time to actually get the results. You cycle off and cycle on. You do 2 weeks of eating better and then 2 weeks of eating trash, and then you just go back and forth and you have no results to show. Don't be that person and don't waste your time. So how do you actually make it a lifestyle, that is sustainable and you can do consistently? Just think about this for yourself. What is the obvious answer? You make it enjoyable. It's not more complicated than that. You have to make it enjoyable, otherwise you won't do it consistently. I don't know about you, but for me personally, right, I don't understand this mindset that people have, that fitness and getting in shape has to be this like strict military job that you can't enjoy whatsoever. That makes no sense to me. Why not make it enjoyable if you're gonna do it for a long period of time? It's like a complete no-brainer. And people don't think about this stuff. Don't feel the need to rush the process. Slowly adopt new things into your life and, add new changes over time. Because I don't know about you, but for me personally, right, I did this fast approach. I thought to myself when I first started, oh, I will be able to work out 5 days a week and eat healthy with every single meal. But I had no experience in doing that. I did it for about 2 weeks and then I quit because it was overwhelming. don't do that and take the slower approach. You know, you will get way faster results if you can do 50% consistently over a longer period of time, more so than doing 100% consistently for only 2 weeks. That is just wasting time. You know, be honest with yourself. You want to look good and be healthy for as long as possible, right? I don't know about you, but for me personally, I want to be as pain-free as possible when I'm 70 years old. Now, the only way to actually make it sustainable, you know, until you're 70 years old, you have to make it enjoyable. There's no way around this. How can you do it for a long period of time if you don't even enjoy it in the first place? Just think about this to yourself. It's so obvious. Number 4, motivation is temporary. Discipline is constant. Now, we all know, right, that motivation is something that comes and goes. You know, some days you want to do something and some days you just can't stand doing it. Now, discipline, however, is the complete opposite of this. You know, no matter how you feel, right, you just get the work done because you know at the end of the day, you will be a better person because of it. What I found personally that helped me, you know, to improve my discipline is to create this new identity for yourself. And let me give you an example. Now, who's gonna stay more consistent and, you know, make faster progress? Let's say person 1, oh, exercising and eating better is cool and all, but I just can't wait to get it over with so I can have a burger and drink some beers on the couch. Or person number 2, I know what life feels like doing the bad habits and I didn't like it. So from this point on, I identify as a person who eats well and trains well, and that is it. You know, it's all about perspective, right? You know, 2 people can be doing the exact same thing, but the mental approach towards the thing gives them completely different results. So what I want you to do is to create this identity for yourself that has way more self-respect. You know, you're a person that strives to always become better every single day, whether it's fitness or getting in shape or whatever you can think of. Adopt this identity early and you will see that it works in your favor. You know, the truth is, right, if you don't believe in yourself in whatever you want to do, that you can actually do it, then why would anyone else believe in you? It all starts with you believing it first before others can do as well. Now, if you feel like you got a lot of value from this video and you're serious about changing your body, you know, once and for all, then let me personally help you to do it, you know, step by step along the way. You will make so much faster progress when it comes to fat loss, and you will also enjoy the process along the way. Just trust me when I say this. If this sounds interesting, then click the first link in the description.